extra, read all about it. Get your copies while they last. Stop the presses.
And now for something completely different.
Are you ready for a little truth? Are we not entertained? Wisdom is the proper use of knowledge and experience. There are no safe spaces here. The truth shall make you free. It's showtime! So you want the truth, but can you handle the truth? Well, here's another fine mess you've gotten us into. Now that's entertainment. Enlighten me a little. What you say is quite logical. And what did we learn? Prepare yourself for a little sensory overload. I came here for the truth. 47 years ago, stand by the roll show intro. Roll show intro in 3, 2, 1, go.
This is the Craig L. Hayes Show.
Hello, America, family, friends, and listeners all around this planet we call home. This is the Craig L. Hayes Show. I am Craig L. Hayes, and we are continuing today. Well, let me give you the date. I think today is the 18th of, either 18th or 19th of May, 2025. And we're continuing today doing our talk about what goes on behind the scenes in Las Vegas showrooms. And it's all about entertainment, our lives in entertainment behind the scene. And I've gone and I've gone and dug up an artifact from the past. Well, you're not that old, so you know. Known him since about 1988 when we worked at a show called Splash, and we'll get and talk about that a little bit later on. But he's known my family since he was a teenager and worked for my grandfather, actually. And we're going to actually talk about that because that's a long time ago. That was like middle of the 1960s. That's how far back we're going to go into some of this stuff. And he's going to tell us a little bit about the stuff he did and in show business, in and out of it. And I'm looking forward to today. Glad I found him and we can have this conversation. So welcome to the show today, Jay Painter.
Hi, Craig.
It's good to have you here. Glad to be a part of this and be able to sit down and have a good chat with you and such. So this format is a little bit about, tell us about where you came from. Are you a Vegas guy? Did you get born and raised in Vegas or?
I'm a native, yes, or was.
Native, not like Indian native, woo, 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 nothing like that, but he's a native of Las Vegas. So he was born and raised in what high school? Western High School.
I was the first full 4-year graduating class of Western High School.
Very cool. My grandmother was. You're fine. It's okay. You got a cough. This is live, and I keep it real, and I don't have any edits.
I don't have an automatic cough button?
Nope. I just do a show, man. We do the show. And whatever happens, happens. All my mistakes are in my shows, and everything I say wrong or hit a button wrong and mute us both, it's all there.
So, all right. Good.
So there is no right, wrong, or anything on this. We're just having a conversation. And back to it, my grandmother, she was the first 4-year graduating class at Las Vegas High School.
Wow.
So that goes back into the 1930s,
Yeah, it does. That building is classic.
Yeah.
It's actually I think it's on the historic register.
It should be. Yeah. That one, the theater, it's a lot of buildings got added. It's now like a big arts and whatever center. But I went down there a couple of years ago and I was like, wow, they really added a lot to this campus. Anyways, we'll go back to that. We'll talk about some of that stuff. But let's start off in Vegas. So tell me a little bit about how you got started in, I know you started doing sound for bands. You started doing some sound for this, that, and the other thing. And you started, playing with dials and knobs and microphones and cables and
Yeah, I was hooked. I have to give credit to John Knight. He's the guy that got me started professionally. Before that, I was just, following bands around and cobbling together sound systems. And John Knight is the guy that actually got me in, which at the time was very difficult. They didn't want any outsiders in the local.
at that time, people don't realize it, but a lot of the unions, up until early 1970s and on, mid 70s even, we'll call it, if you weren't family, you weren't getting in.
Yep, it's not who you know.
That's who you're related to. It was very difficult, and I've heard that from several guys like Steve James and a couple others. How
Yeah, it was rough.
yeah, some very talented like yourself people. It was very difficult to get some real good talent into the local, which was never understood that side of it. I understand protecting the work for your family, but never understood keeping out the talent.
Yeah, well, I remember that one of the newspapers, we were having a strike at the time, it's years ago, but the news referred to the Local 720 as the once powerful stagehands union, and I don't know what happened, but we did swing a lot of weight.
We had a lot of clout up until into the 80s. And that's when the hotels with Nevada Resort Association, et cetera, that's when they decided they were going to fight back.
Right.
Until then, they were afraid of our union and some others and stuff like that. And they just went along to get along and such. But come in the 80s, everyone always blames Reagan because of the air traffic controllers. It's like it had nothing to do with Reagan and air traffic controllers. It had to do that, the Resort Association decided they wanted to fight back and start saying how they wanted, and they did.
So rather than signing a blanket contract with like Al Bramlett and Culinary, they started treating each hotel separately with a separate contract.
Yep.
And if I remember right, I think there were only two, was it Circus and the Riviera, that just agreed to whatever the union wanted and went on with business. For that, I think, how long was the town down? About 2 weeks?
Something like that, yeah.
I remember they wouldn't let us carry picket signs on sticks. They gave us,
Yeah, the placard you wore and
Yeah.
stuff like that, yeah. Because they're afraid someone would get beat up with the stick or something.
and I can remember Culinary signed before we did, and they damn near ran us down going into the parking. We were going across the street, or the sidewalk, and the Culinary people were driving in. They damn near killed a couple of us.
That was 84 probably, right? Yeah.
Oh, we signed. What happened to you guys?
Well, we haven't so much for solidarity. Yeah, we're all stick together. Nah. It's everybody on their own for themselves. But anyways, what year did you start working out a Local 720? Was it in the 70s?
I think it was in the late 60s.
Late 60s? Woo!
That's when they had the office over there on Industrial Road.
Gosh, I remember that one.
The second floor office.
Yeah, I remember going over there a few times when we had to go pay Dad's stamps and stuff. So
Yeah.
long time ago.
And who was it? Hal Ritzer and Gordon Coker, boy, they sure went out of their way to keep me out.
Well, they sure went another way to try, but eventually got in. So, no, they did that with man. I don't know. I was like going back to the same thing. I don't know why they tried keeping all the people that were talented out of the local. You were an audio guy, and then eventually you became one of the big laser guys in town, and it's like I don't understand that. So,
Not to mention a spotlight operator.
spot ops, electrician.
Boy, that was your ticket. If you could run a spot well, you never wanted for work.
Yeah. No. Things do change.
Yeah.
Now they got so many people in there, and it's a convention local now. It's not even showbiz anymore. We got five showrooms or something in town still that are 720.
We're lucky to have those.
Yeah. Every time they knock down the building, we lose that one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we got Luxor, Excalibur, Flamingo, Harrah's, Circus, and Westgate. That's the only ones I can think of.
Yeah. The Flamingo's where I got my original start.
What did you do there?
I I was in the electronics store buying some connectors to build a mic snake, and a fellow by the name of John Knight happened in there. He wanted to know what I was doing, and I told him, and then he came up to my house and saw the sound system that I had built, and next thing you know, I'm in his garage coiling up tangled mic cables, and he put me to work.
Oh. Now, was that sound system you had put together, was that for the bands that you were doing, like your sound system for
It belonged to a
bands?
band, and I was storing it in my garage, and
gotcha.
I maintained it.
Kept it up and running and fixed all the problems? Good deal. Okay.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people would say that was just chance. Some people would say that's just luck. I don't know. I think there's inevitability built into all this stuff. You know, you were meant to run into this guy at that time and start working out a local
I think you
720.
might be right.
You know, and find a guy that's, you know, that wants to do it. I saw that in the years when I was in junior high school, and I had a unicycle act called Unicycle Times 2. We did shows all over town, and we were just riding out in the street, you know, just staying in shape with my buddy that was in it, and all of a sudden this van pulls up, and it's like, okay, this is kind of creepy. And the guy gets out, and he starts talking to us, and it was Steve McPeak, the guy that had the world's record for riding a 100-foot tall unicycle.
Unique McPeak. Yeah, I worked with him a couple of times. He was a character.
Yeah, it was so cool meeting him, and I didn't know who he was until a little while later, and, you know, and that was so cool to get to meet him. So things just happen.
Yeah. Didn't he try to do a ride across one of the cables going across the dam?
I know he walked out there, and then he got arrested for it, obviously.
Yeah.
I don't think he rode. I think he just walked out there, did his, you know, balance, and he started walking out there and walked back. And then when he finally got done, he hopped off and
They slapped him in irons.
got the bracelets, and you know, that's the way it goes.
Yeah.
That's what happens. So cool. So, and what'd you say the guy's name was? John Knight?
Yes.
John Knight. I don't recognize the name, but that was probably quite a bit before my time. I didn't come into this local till 80. So you had quite a few year jump on me on that stuff. But I don't remember the name, even hearing the name. And what did he do? What was his job at?
He was head sound at the Flamingo.
He was the head sound, okay. Yeah, I knew
Back
Mike.
then didn't have a showroom because the showroom got condemned by the building department. So their main showroom was the old lounge. And then finally they got something through, I think it was the electrical system, the lighting system that got them shut down. And they ended up renting a big one from Brennan, and they reopened the showroom. And that didn't last very long.
So the showroom that's there right now, is that the original showroom, or is that?
That's all been destroyed, all been torn down.
Oh, the original's not there anymore.
No.
Ah. I just thought that one was there because it's so old. That showroom is so old still, and you know, only seats, what, 900 people or 800 people or something like that.
If that.
It's one of the old Vegas showrooms that are
Yeah.
small. Huh. So that's interesting. I thought that was the original. My bad. I would have put money on that, and I would have lost.
Yeah.
So, okay, so Flamingo.
I think the only show they ran in the showroom when I was there was a show called Doodah Days.
Country act?
I don't quite remember what it was about, but they
Sounds
had
like that.
a gangster, and you know, they'd walk through the showroom with empty shotguns every night to go open and close the show. And they had a couple of girls planted in the audience that would holler out to the guys on the stage. That's about all I remember of it.
Yeah, just about anything you can imagine is on a stage in Las Vegas. So,
At one time or another, yes.
you know, how long did you stay at the Flamingo?
I stayed at the Flamingo until I found out there was an opening at the Union Plaza. And I went over there, and I was their head sound for, I don't know, about 2 years. And we did one musical and live comedies. And the musical was usually Cole Porter. And then he would pick, God, who knows. We did Anything Goes. That was a musical. It wasn't Last of the Red Hot Lovers. It was Man with a Dirty Mind was the second one they did. That was a play. And he would alternate a play for 3 months, and then he'd do a musical for 3 months. But they never really got much of an audience down there because, the Union Plaza used to be the railroad station at the top of Fremont Street in Maine. No, I don't know. I forgot what I was going to say.
Well, there's not very many people down there. But, and what year was that roughly? Early 70s, mid 70s?
Yeah, way early 70s, 71, 72.
Yeah. Well, the action was happening down on the Strip, which in the early 70s, the Strip looked nothing like it does today.
No, it didn't.
People don't realize it. Back then you had the resort, and then you had about, 20 acres, 50 acres of dirt.
That's right.
And then another resort, and then another 20, 50 acres of dirt, and, just all the way up and down the Strip.
The dirt lots used to be our landmarks, and every time they build a hotel, you'd get lost trying to get where you were going.
Yeah. Go past the second dirt lot and turn into that hotel. It's called such and such. No, I get that. And little gas stations were on there, and it's nothing like that now. It's
the one that always troubled me was the El Rancho. That was one of the first main casinos on the Strip. It was at the Strip in Sahara.
Yeah.
And
El Rancho Vegas.
El Rancho Vegas.
Yeah.
Did you know that, what was her name? It'll come to me.
My dad tells me the story that, El Rancho Vegas was up and running and doing all of its thing. And then it burned down. And they blamed a shorted out microphone cable.
Probably. They ignore the stories of people walking through the casino with cans of gasoline telling everybody they had to get out. That really happened. And then I remember when I was a kid, I think I was 5 years old. This was before they had the freeway, and Sahara was an overpass, jumping across the tracks.
Yeah.
And my dad drove us down there, and we watched the fire for a while.
So the guys walking through the place with the gasoline, was that a rival mob burning out the
That was
owners
them
of that
collecting
place?
on insurance.
So
There's a book that details...
One of two things happen, just so everyone understands. One of two things like that happens. It's a rival mob burning down their competition's income source, or it's the mob deciding to get out of it and collect the money and run on the insurance.
Yeah, if you can find a book called... Greenfelt Jungle. Details the whole story of how the fire started and who started it. I don't know. I doubt if it's in print because it's like 50 years ago when that book was out.
Yeah, a little bit different than a newspaper account.
Yeah.
A microphone on stage shorted out. Microvolts. Started a fire. Gotcha. Wow. All right. So we got the El Rancho there, and yeah, the landmarks have definitely just major league changed. And everyone always kind of considers, well, does it always look like this? Wall to wall casino, one after another. No,
there were big vacant lots between.
Big vacant lots. Remember that one year they ran the Grand Prix? Was that like in the early 80s or something like that, late 70s, early 80s, and they ran the Vegas Grand Prix on the dirt lot next to Caesar's Palace where the Mirage sits now.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
One thing I do remember was, what was the name of that Presley movie? Viva Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And they were doing a road race, and they started down Fremont Street, and they turned right on Main Street. And the next scene, they're out by the lake. So that was kind of magic.
Yeah. I sit there and I watch this and I go, wow. And then they turned again, and they're out in Valley of Fire, and then they're up in Mount Charleston. Then like,
Yeah.
where did you get? Who came up with this course? You know, just so everybody knows, those actual places are 30, 40, 50 miles away from Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Simple turn right, and there you are in the forest. It's still a classic, and I don't know. I kind of liked Anne Margaret in it.
Yeah.
She was awful good looking. Nice, one of the nicest people too.
I've been told that.
Yeah, it's the same here. Everybody that's ever worked with her over the years said she is just amazing, just one of the nicest people. And in this business, that's kind of rare at times.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah.
So anyways, we'll go back to talking about you instead of Anne Margaret. Just checking the time. We got about another 5 minutes, and we'll conclude this episode. Okay. And then we'll start another one. So with the 5 minutes we have, so you went over to the Union Plaza, and you were doing plays. Did you do any band stuff in there, or was
They
it just...
had a lounge, but it was like, Marlena's LA Express, 3 kids on the stage behind the bar in the casino. And I hated that because the sound system sucked. I redid it twice, and they wouldn't give me any money to do it right. And so I just kind of, did the best I could with it. Am I allowed to say names?
Yeah.
Okay. Maynard Sloat was in charge of the entertainment at the Union Plaza at the time, and he was, he should have been doing something else for a living.
So friend of the family, or who owned it, or the family, as we called them back then. They're in the family. So.
I don't remember where he got his start. I just keep wanting to say Larry Lee, but probably not. Oh, well, it doesn't matter. He's long gone.
Well, that's why you can say anything you want now. So. No, there's a lot of people getting those positions that you got to scratch your head, because you remember, and I do, the times when the entertainment director, whoever booked the room, you either kept your job by booking good shows, or you were gone if you booked a couple bad shows in a row. I mean, they always figured if you're taking a chance with some act that's never been heard of before and it doesn't do as well, okay, well, we understand you tried something new. But if you had a whole bunch of dogs, yeah, you were gone.
Yep.
Now it's all by committee. The entertainment director and vice president of entertainment goes out and finds, an act they would like to do, and then they start taking it to every vice president in the hotel and the president of the hotel. Then they got to send it back to the corporate lawyers and all them people, and they have to sign. It's got 15, 20 signatures on it before it's approved to come in.
And meanwhile, half of those people don't have any idea what entertainment they need in their venue.
No. I mean, you're literally going and asking the head of the convention. You're asking the head of hotel operations and facilities and stuff. What does that have to do with what's going on in the showroom,
Times have changed.
Yeah, it's all changed because, at that time, entertainment director or whatever like that had serious clout because they were in charge. They were boom. The only person above them was the president of the hotel, and if they messed up, bye, next, So things have changed. It's like it's by making decisions by committee now. I don't know if that's a good thing. Sometimes I can see their logic that they want to hear from everybody. What do you think of this and this and this and this? And I don't have a problem if you're the entertainment director and you go to a few of the other people and go, hey, I'm looking at such and such act. What do you think? Well, we had them here before, and how'd they do? And, have a little chat. But, I mean, everyone's got to sign off on it. It's like, well, if this is wrong and we lose any money, it's all of us who signed off on this. That's kind of like cowardice to me in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But that's just me. How they do it is none of my business as long as they were doing something on the stage. That's the only thing I really cared about.
Yeah, that's true.
So anyways, Jay, I'm going to pull an end to this episode here. I'm going to mute you real quick here, and we're going to call an end to this episode, and then we'll be right back for the next episode. Talbot, take it away.
This is the Craig L. Hayes Show.